My apologies, folks. See how we're doing. Hit the wrong button. Production was going good, and then it went to hit the share button, and it hit the other. So we're back. Facebook got kicked out. Everything else seems to be good. we're back. Production issues. I went to share, and then so lesson learned. That's just crazy to me. It's just crazy. All right, Twitch is good. We lost. That's wild. We lost one. We kept another. All right. I just can't believe some of this stuff. You live and you learn, folks. You live and you learn. So this is what we're doing right now in the Commonwealth. Apologize to the folks out there in television land. You know, the share and the. I'm not making excuses. I just gotta watch, pay attention to what I'm doing. So, you know, they're freaking hung up. Oh my goodness. But log right back in, get right back in the mix. Keep things rolling. Appreciate the folks on the Twitter machine. And we keep pushing forward. Yeah, but it's brick cold, man. It's brick cold. The temperatures dropped over the weekend. Got snow Sunday into Monday, and now the temperatures have just been staying low. So, right, driveway is iced up. Roads are iced up. Shout out to DPW and crews out there keeping the roadways safe and drivable and everything else like that. But yeah. We went to, and I'm like, man, what the heck it's freezing? It's brick cold, bro. It's mid December. What are you expecting? You know, what are you expecting? Palm trees. You live in New England. You know, it's middle of December. So get the snow going on. You see the kids outside with the snowball fights and everything of that nature. I'm getting a little bit older, but still, you don't stop in participating in snowball fights because you're getting older. You get old because you stop participating in snowball fights. Get out there and go sledding, dive in the snow. Get tagged with a couple snowballs. It'll do you good. It's good for you. So, shout out to winter in New England. Shout out to not ending a call, trying to switch the screen, paying a freaking attention. Yeah. And let's keep it moving. And grooving. Stop sharing that. Come over here. And we're going to talk a little bit about Friday Night Lights, a.k.a. Hoop Dreams. We got to talk a little bit about the Hoop Dreams. All right. Went down quite a bit. Let's come back up. Yes, indeed. Got quite a few. What the heck? Just had it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Folks, it's tough. It's hard, right? Um, but it's supposed to be hard, right? Um, what am I talking about? I'm talking about it's basketball season. The high schools are beginning, right? Public high schools, they had tryouts after Thanksgiving and had the scrimmages, and now we're into the first couple games of the season, and it's off to the races. Okay. And the community's coming out to see your games and got your warm-up music and the whole 9 yards. Okay. Uh, it's a big production. It's a rite of passage. Um, and it's a challenge. It's nothing free. Um, but within that, I just go to these games and it's feast to famine, right? You see teams that are locked in. The guys, they feel ready, put the work in the off season, and they're coming in there to take no prisoners, right? And then you see teams that are trying to find themselves, right? That are struggling a bit to define roles. Um, that have to just point of fact, case in point, find themselves, right? Uh, and that's the dance, the balance of the season. Okay, and so I put Hoop Dreams up on the screen, not just because it's one of the greatest films ever made, bar none. Okay, it's not why Hoop Dreams is up there on the screen. Best films available. And it kills me. I'm upset. I don't want to. It is because look, man. It's once in a lifetime, and while you're going through it, you're going through it. The highs, the lows, so on and forth. Okay, but at the end of the day, bottom line, right? You want. It's not what you don't want to do. Okay, it's what you want to do, which is give your absolute all. Okay. Um, and maybe you could say, oh well, you overemphasize, you put too much, on. And my rejoinder for that would be, you know, if if everything was if everything had the significance in the culture as your high school experience, then you would put focus, emphasis, um, effort into those things, right? There's nothing like walking across the stage and getting your high school diploma. Okay. Playing for your local high school team, right? You're going to go on and do other things, have success, so on and forth. Okay. But it's not always going to be for the place that you grew up. Right. And those achievements later on in life, are equally and at times more important, but they're different is what I'm saying. Okay? And when you do have those achievements later on in life, professional, personal, communal, whatever the case may be, the first place you're going to want people to know about it and to share in said achievements, your hometown. You're going to want to make that connection. Right? Yes, Arthur A.G., Hoop Dreams. Follow him on social media. Always love to see his posts. Will Gates, St. Joe's Hoop Dreams. I think sometimes you have to remember, right, that intertwined with the athletic dream, hope, aspiration, right, is, 16, 17, 18-year-old human being that's trying to figure it out, find themselves, so on and forth, right? And it's those two things that are taking place concurrently, if you will, at the same time, right? And that's the challenge of it. It's the coming of age of a young person who's still going to be young when they graduate. You're not an adult when you're 18, 19, even though you feel like you are. You're still a young person. Maybe you can say, oh, 18, I can serve my country. I can, all right, point taken. I got all that, but you're still a teenager, right? So that's taking place along with pursuing your dreams in athletics or your dreams in academics or your dreams in your vocation, whatever the case may be. So, man, it's when you see teams that are rolling and guys, they're just in a groove, that's one thing. When you see teams that are, searching to find it and, kind of in no man's land, that's another thing. All of, you're going to be in one of those two places at some point in time on your hoop dreams or, whatever the athletic journey that you're partaking, right? You're going to be rolling and everyone's going to be aligned and things are going to be clicking and you're just stacking up wins after wins, okay? Or you're going to be on the other side of that, right? And it's going to be haphazard and it's going to be inconsistent and it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be angering, right? You find yourselves on both sides of that coin. And bottom line, end of the day is, how are you responding to that? How are you responding when, hey, you're the toast of the town, everybody's patting you on your back, seems that you're invincible, right? The successful part of it, which we remember from Hoop Dreams, began as Will Gates. He began as the toast of the town. Arthur A.G. began as, the uncertain prospect. But over the course of the journey, what happens? All right. You get on that roller coaster and you have your ups and downs. You got your ups and downs. And so that's where, what am I trying to say? It's with high school, it's different because, particularly the younger players, freshman and sophomore, even sometimes junior, not all the time, but seniors as well, they are receptive. They're looking for guidance. Okay. But it's a fine line, particularly as the athletes transition from underclassmen to upperclassmen, because then the independence comes in and, that individual wants to do things the way they want to do them. Right. And is not going to be as receptive to instruction or guidance. Okay. Right. But they will need some instruction, guidance, coaching, mentorship. We, right. And so then you get into the art, to the balance, okay, to the dance, to the journey. Right? That's the substance of Hoop Dreams. Okay. You're in your Arthur Agee moment. You can see it in your mind. This is our time, our season. We are going to achieve great things. You feel it in your bones. Right? And then you get out there into the season, and what did Mike Tyson say? Everybody has that plan until what? Till you get bopped in the mouth. You had your plan, but you're going to get socked in the mouth. Not necessarily physically. It's basketball, not boxing. But by the ups and the downs of the season and the challenges within the team, you're going to get bopped in the mouth. You're going to think it's going to be this way and it's going to be that way. Or you just go out and you're not playing well. You're having bad games. Okay. Or you're not practicing well. Not bringing your full attention, energy, concentration, consistent effort to practice. And therefore, you're not moving up the depth chart. Okay. Then you start questioning. Frustration comes in. Why am I doing this in the first place? I'm not starting, or I'm not playing, or I'm not playing enough, or I don't like my role, whatever the case may be. Right. Then that sets in impacts, changes your perspective. Again, remember myself going through it and some of the heartache and pain, of my sports journey in high school to this day. Dive into that a little bit more in a different episode. But in the scope of time, looking back, you say to yourself, man, right? Yes, you're glad for the experiences that you had and but as Tracy Morgan says, you don't want to be looking back saying, what if? But it's so hard to have, and you don't really have that. You don't have the long view, the experience view when you're going through it for the first time, because you're going through it for the first time. Right? And you're reacting in real time, so on and forth. Not to get too philosophical on it. Okay? Hoop dreams, in conclusion. You know what I mean? It's going to be different than what you expect. It's going to challenge and push you in different ways to the brink at times. Right? Bottom line, it's once in a lifetime. So when you get out there at a port and things are going sideways, not what you expected, frustrated, angry, so on and forth, you say to yourself, man, okay, all that might be true. Keep pushing, get through to the other side. What does that mean specifically, unequivocally? Okay. Being the best player you can be and the best teammate you can be. 1 and 2. Focus there and build everything else up. Right? Whatever that's. Remember in Hoop Dreams, senior year, as the roles were reversing, out of nowhere, Arthur, things clicked for him at Marshall, and he hits his stride. Whereas Will, coming off an injury at St. Joe's, trying to recapture his former confidence, right? He starts to fade a little bit. So one, the Arthur who started slow peaks towards the end. Will started fast towards the end of the journey, not the same. And it was hard for him to recapture. Right? Bottom line, end of the day, keep saying it, once in a lifetime, the Hoop Dreams. All right? And as you're going through it and the young guys going through it, that rite of passage, seems passe and cliche and all. You get your help, get the support, have someone to talk to, vent to when you need, so on and forth. Okay? But hang in there and just do your best. Nothing like playing in front of your hometown fans. Packed gym in your hometown, competing, everyone cheering for you, everyone pulling for you. You don't want to take it for granted. You don't want to waste not one bit of it. Whether things are going good, bad, or indifferent. That's the bottom line. You got to go out there and get it while the getting is true. You got to get it while the getting is good. Sorry to people on Facebook, got cut out. But more on that subject. We coming in a little bit later, but we shall revisit. And we had technical difficulties. As we do better, then we had technical difficulties. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, folks, we're not gonna have technical difficulties no more because I'm not gonna allow myself to have technical difficulties. Won't stand for it no more. Tuesday edition Sand City Sports. Like I said, your boy's thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be here, folks. Yeah, long days, good days, right? Long days and good days. It is what it is. Let me see over here what we got. Okay, we got a lot. Oh my goodness. We got a lot to get to. Right. So we're gonna come back to Hoop Dream. Shout out to the Hoopers out there, the youngins, the Utes. And I got a little bit of philosophical because I'm kind of feeling it, kind of feeling it. Went to a local ball game and knew a lot of the players out there on the court, and one team was in a groove and kind of clicking. Maybe not clicking on all cylinders because it's very early in the season, but they were playing their team game, right? And the other squad was really trying to find their team game, and then within that, trying to find themselves. The individual players trying to find themselves, right? And so, it's challenging. It's challenging to see because so much goes into it when you hit a rough patch. But that's right. Those rough patches can be, decidedly fertile soil to build something new and great. It depends on how you look at it, or it can just be a long, difficult season, right? So you gotta have the perspective and kind of go from there. We're gonna talk movies. I got a number of movies lined up, and so we will discuss not necessarily this episode, but in a forthcoming episode for sure. Unless folks, what's going on in here? Okay, got a giveaway. That's cool. Right. So we're gonna head over to Slice of Life. Okay, and we talked about it. Just a couple clips. And then we are going to call this episode good episode. We're going to do a little Slice of Life, and then we're going to keeps it moving and grooving. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Again, the process, the journey.
The day. He has to win the day every day. Is he guaranteed of playing in a game? No, he can't control that right now. But he can control making me think about it. He can, that for sure. And the way to do that is in practice sessions, pre-practice, the approach, and shoot-arounds, everything to be at a high level. Just to make you watch, and then eventually your opportunity, you make me play you, and then if you're playing, you make me not even think about playing somebody else. And when you're doing impacting winning and doing winning things and doing the detailed things with great effort and focus, that usually leads to those. You win the day. He has to win the day every day. Is he guaranteed of playing in a game? No, he can't control that right now. But he can control making me think about it. That for sure. And the way to do that is in practice sessions, pre-practice, the approach, and shoot-arounds, everything to be at a high level, just to make you watch. And then eventually you get your opportunity, you make me play you. And then if you're playing, you make me not even think about playing somebody else. And when you're doing impacting winning and doing winning things and doing the detailed things with great effort and focus, that usually leads to those. You win the.
Okay, so much more eloquently and concisely than I can put it, but Erik Spoelstra, just, you have the hoop dreams, but how do you transfer that into your basketball reality? Erik Spoelstra right there just broke it down in terms of how you do that. Staying in the basketball coaching space.
Let me tell you about playing really good defense. Most coaches, all players are more concerned about offensive play than they are about defensive play. The better you play defense, the more difficult you are to play against, the better your offense is going to be. I used to think, and I learned this very early when I was coaching at West Point, that if we were really good defensively, the other team is going to work awfully hard to try and score against our defense. Most coaches are score-oriented. Players are all score-oriented. So if we get them to spend a lot of time working against our defense, I always felt that our defense, they can work against man-to-man, but our defense cannot be duplicated. We have different rules than anybody else has. We're tougher to play against than anybody else is, usually. Not always, but usually. And that causes the other team to work awfully hard on its offense, while we then gain an advantage with our offense. They haven't spent as much time defensively in preparation as perhaps they should have. Let me tell you about playing really good defense.
All right. All-time great coach about how you win at the margins. All right. No lies detected there. All right. And we'll finish on a positive note. Okay, this is what the Utes are looking for. Right? This is talk about hoop dreams and right, this is what you're looking for. But we just heard from Erik Spoelstra and Coach Bobby Knight, two of the greatest coaches to ever do it, what it takes to get there. And this is what a lot of, this is right. This isn't free, folks. This isn't free. This is the EYBL Scholastic, the Nike Scholastic. Y'all tell them about it. This isn't free, folks. At the end of all that energy, that focus, that consistency, that hard work, those lonely nights, that's what you can get to. That's what you can get to. Okay. But that's going to be the end, right? That's towards the end of the journey. That's not guaranteed. That's not just because you stepped on the court or because you have new shoes or because so-and-so said that you're supposed to be this and that. No. That's not how you get to that highlight right there. All right. You get there by doing the things consistently, day-to-day basis that you have to do, that you don't want to do, but that you're going to do, to get your breakthrough. Okay, speaking of hoop dreams. Right, so let's see here. Yeah, it's a it's a grind, right? It's a roller coaster, ups and downs. It's once in a lifetime, right? And so, as you're going through it, right, you want to talking to the hoopers out there that's in different places. Okay, you want to, hey, let's check, folks. You don't want to be the one, Tracy Morgan said, you don't want to be the one wondering about the what ifs and the woulda, coulda, shoulda, and all this. You want to take hold and take the good with the bad and go out there and capture that hoop dreams. That's what you want to do. All right. And while you're doing that, I'll work on not messing up my doggone presentation, cutting it off and bringing it back. Deal? Hey, happy Tuesday. I guess it's Wednesday now. Another work day. We're going to go after it and get it done like it needs to be done. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, folks. Hey, Sand City.